Peace, Panda Amanda. Hi friends. So today I thought that we could do something a little bit different. I am just waking up and I thought that maybe we could try to read my tarot cards for the day. And I have to be completely honest here. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't do this very often. It is something that I'm trying to learn just because I think it's a very cool skill to have. But I have a reference book here that I will absolutely be using probably quite a bit. And I've got my cards, so we will give it a try and see how this goes. All right, so without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Sit back, relax, and here we go. So I thought that I would start by lighting a candle. Just gonna put that there. Now a little bit about the tools that I'll be using today. I am borrowing this deck of tarot cards. Can you see? It is the Giant Rider Waite Tarot deck, and it is by US Games Systems, Inc. Today we are only going to be using the major arcana cards just because for the formation that we'll be using, it is more of an in-depth reading with just that trump apparently. So I've read in this book here that I'll be referencing called The Mystical Tarot by Rosemary Ellen Guiley. It's supposed to be a very good one. I'm not too sure. I borrowed these things from someone that knows about this and does this often. So hopefully we will get some answers that we're seeking. So I have my cards here. I don't know if you have to kiss it, but it seemed appropriate. All right. So again, very much a beginner here, so please don't come for me if you are some kind of expert or you know more than me, which is highly likely because I don't know very much. I would definitely be open to any suggestions that you might have or any extra knowledge. I do plan on studying a little bit more, but this will be a very basic reading. I am supposed to ask the cards before I start shuffling a question, yes or no. So I think my question today is going to be, will I have a successful and prosperous day of working? Because I have a lot of bills coming up at the end of the month and a lot of unanticipated expenses. So I have been trying to work a lot more than I ordinarily would and try to get as much money as I can to help me pay for those things. All right, so let's find out what today's going to bring. Going to do 3 shuffles. couple mix-ups. These are gigantic cards. They're kind of hard to hold. And then we'll do 3 more shuffles. Oh, goodness. Struggling here. Okay, and then just 3 more mix-ups. 1, okay, so I think that they are pretty well shuffled. I'm going to just put them there and take a quick coffee break. Okay, so the formation, there are so many different kinds that you can do. I'm going to be doing the Celtic cross, which is great for beginners. So I'm just going to open my reference book here. Just to help me know what it is that I'm doing. Now, each card has a special meaning, not only for the card itself, but also where you are going to be placing it. So the first card is called the Cover. It represents the forces covering, influencing, or surrounding the person asking the question. So that card is the Wheel of Fortune. It's very appropriate. That card. Let me just get to where I need to be here. Number X. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune card is a self-assessment tool. It can help you take account of where you are in your life. You use it to get a fix on where you are coming from, as well as where you are going, and even why you might not be making any progress. The card represents the wheel of life, the coming and going of all things. What's here today is gone tomorrow. Today's challenges are tomorrow's opportunities. Adversity may be followed by triumph or vice versa. The card reminds us that although we may not be in control of our destinies, we are not locked into any particular place or stage in our life. We can either stand still and wait for changes as the wheel continues to spin, or we can initiate those changes ourselves and move forward. In other words, we can color the outcome of our destiny. New doors are always opening in our lives. We can choose which ones to go through. The process never stops. The card also tells us that the wheel spins with or without us. If we go with the flow, we grow. If we resist, we stagnate. We can either be a great part of the process or watch life pass us by. Greater satisfaction, growth, and fulfillment come from living a life that's in tune with the cycles and rhythms. The wheel also underscores the cyclical nature of our personal growth and development. We frequently relive the past by looking back over all of the major changes in our lives as a way of measuring progress. The past is a part of our future. The wheel card also warns us that we are condemned to repeat the mistakes of the past if we don't learn. That's one reason why we often compare decisions we made in our youth with decisions we make years later. Just as important, the card tells us that we are today because of what we did yesterday, and what we do tomorrow will depend on what we do today. At the same time, we must take responsibility for whatever comes around. Okay, so that is a super appropriate card for my cover because it seems like it represents that things are always changing and today is in my control. So to partly answer my question about the forces that are influencing, the answer to my question is that it's in my power. The money that I make today, whether or not today is successful for me, is up to me. If I remain stagnant and I don't do anything, then I'm not going to do anything. I won't make any money. My day will not be successful. But if I want it to be a successful day, then it is 100% within my power to do so. All right. Now, the second card goes on top of that first card, and it represents the crossing. The crossing card is the immediate obstacles, influences, or opposing forces that lie ahead. Influences may be positive or negative. The rest of the spread will indicate which applies. If the card has negative implications, try to interpret them in a positive way for the seeker. To fully interpret this card, it must be read not only in the context of the whole spread, but also in its relation to the number 10 card, which represents the final outcome. So this one we won't really know what it means. I forgot to show it to you. I got there's like a glare, sorry. The Justice card, which makes me a little nervous. But we'll see what it means in context to the other cards that I pull. So we're not going to read what that card means just yet. We will come back to it when we lay out all of the other cards, okay? So the next card, card number 3, goes here, and it represents the foundation. The foundation or basis for the seeker's questions. Things that existed in the past that have now become part of the present and are the reason for the question being asked. So the card I got is the Emperor. Let's see what that means. The Emperor represents the external world that exists outside of the natural world. He stands for ties that bind us together as a society and civilization. He is the unity and order in our lives, the laws that guide us, as well as the logic that dictates our actions. He represents the different controlling forces in our lives: Father, ruler, supreme being. The Emperor lays it out straight for us, articulating the difference between right and wrong. He lets us know there will be consequences from deviating from the correct path. In the Emperor's world, A leads to B and B leads to C. There is little room for deviation from the norm. In the Emperor's world, the secular side of our life, everything we need to know, every answer to every question is written down somewhere. All we have to do is look it up. The Emperor and the High Priestess, which is another card, can sometimes symbolize the tension that exists between following the dictates of the heart and doing what logic says is right. Even so, the Emperor can only speak for what is right according to the external rules that govern our lives in general, or the choices we face in every given situation. He cannot punish, only warn. The Emperor can be a stabilizing influence as well. His firmness gives us something to hold on to in times of turbulence and change. His course of action is spelled out ahead of time, eliminating any ambiguity or decision about the correct actions to follow. His is the path of preservation, of protecting the status quo. At the other end of the spectrum, the Emperor can represent the restraining influences in our lives and the need for change. Instead of a path that leads to growth and fulfillment, the old, orderly ways can be restraining and stagnating. The Emperor could be telling us to turn our back on the comfortable and the known, and that it is time to strike out into unfamiliar territory so that we can experience new growth and make new rules as we go along. We can also return to the comfortable path, and we may eventually do so, wiser from the experiences of having tried something new. Interesting. So, this is the basis for my question, or the foundation, which means that it sounds like tried and true is the way to go, but he could also be telling me to try something new and maybe it will work out in my favor. I don't know. What do you think? Let's see what the next card brings. Just gonna move this candle a little bit because of where it's going to go. All right, so the next card represents what has passed. Influences on the seeker that are in the process of passing away or are already in the past. And the card I pulled for this spot is the Temperance card. Let's see what that one means. Okay, Temperance. The Justice card tells us of the consequences of not living life in perfect harmony or balance. The Temperance card is a guide to living that harmony. We know that life itself is a neutral process. The ebb and flow only lead to more of the same. How we live within the process, preferably in balance, is the key to fulfillment and happiness. The Temperance card suggests the need to recognize the need for limitations, to know how far to go and when to pull back on the reins. It is not a denial or sacrifice, but rather mixing or matching or weaving together what's right for you. Just as you have to keep mixing hot and cold water until the temperature feels right, you have to select the path that feels best for you. The Temperance card implies great self-knowledge. The more you know about yourself, the more able you are to find balance between your wants and needs, strengths and weaknesses, likes and dislikes, as well as how you function in different situations. After all, we are not the same all the time. Our behavior changes as circumstances and environment changes. The Temperance card also reminds us that to pursue anything in the extreme is a bad tactic. Oh no, this is raining so true for me. We would be wiser to choose the middle path and put together a plan that leaves room for accommodation, flexibility, and change along the way. By tilting too far in one direction, we might topple over, or by turning the flames up too high, we might get burned. The Temperance card is a moderating force between the raw determination of the chariot driver and the sword-wielding force of justice. Why live life on the edge when you don't have to? Draw from all that life has to offer. Compromise, accommodate, and be happy. Remember, you are in control and calling the shots. You can choose what's best for you. By pursuing the path of temperance, you will also live a more fulfilling and enriching life in company with others. Your personality, your strengths, and weaknesses will be balanced against theirs. You will draw what you need for yourself and share from yourself what they need. Okay. So I'm thinking that because this card is in the what has passed place on the cross, I am wondering if it represents that I've been to one side, there's not enough balance in my life, and perhaps I will be putting that in the past. I need to learn to live more in moderation, which is so true. So even as I make this video, I'm feeling so guilty with myself because I am deviating from my normal schedule right now by doing this. And I need to give myself a break, I think is what this card is telling me. And I need to live with more harmony and balance with my wants and needs and not be so stressed all the time to stick to my routine. My world is not going to end if I don't go to the gym on one scheduled day, which is what I would be doing right now if I wasn't making this video. Interesting. Let's see what the next card is. So card number 5 is what may come to pass, some event that might take place in the future, perhaps influencing the outcome of the question. This card deserves special attention because it points to forces taking shape, which may or may not manifest depending upon actions taken by the seeker. You will want to help the seeker make the most of potential opportunity or take steps to overcome obstacles. Again, look to card 10 for additional insight. So we may have to come back to this card after we pull the 10th card. But let's see what it is, okay? Ooh, the High Priestess in reverse. Oh, I don't know. I haven't done a reverse card yet. Let's see what that's going to mean. Okay, the High Priestess reversed meaning. You are ignoring your own impulses. Things don't feel right to you, and you are afraid to follow your hunches. You want external validation. Your feelings are strong, but you are afraid or unwilling to act. You are distant from and not a part of the life process, still sitting on the sidelines watching. You want things revealed to you in advance before you will commit. This is so true. I am a little bit afraid of taking risks or following my passions because I'm not sure that it will pan out. And if we go back to my original question about whether or not today will be successful for me and prosperous, I have been wanting to pursue a different income stream, and I've been really afraid of putting myself out there and doing it. And I think that maybe this card is trying to tell me that I should just do it. Because if I don't, I'll be ignoring my own impulses, and that maybe I don't need the external validation. It's about internal validation. So since this is the card that represents what may come to pass, I need to keep this in mind to make sure that I don't ignore my own feelings and that I do allow myself to follow my hunches. I think that's what this means. We'll see. The next card is card number 6, and it represents what I must face. Things that lie ahead, especially influences that the speaker will have to deal with. These are forces already in motion and manifesting in the life of the seeker. If changes are desirable, look to cards 3, 5, and 10, which we haven't pulled yet, for inspiration. Oh, another reverse card. The Magician. 6 goes here. So let's see what the reverse meaning of the Magician card is. Oh my God. So what I must face, keep this in mind. You are blocking your creative energies, or you are afraid to experiment, to try new things. Your self-confidence is lacking because you're unsure of yourself. At the same time, the card could be telling you not to be so self-assured, that what worked once may not be right this time. Interesting. So I am blocking my creative energies. This income revenue, this income stream that I haven't explored yet because I don't have the self-confidence, is definitely on the creative track, and I am absolutely afraid to experiment and try new things. So this card is telling me that I need to face those fears and I need to get over it and just do it and see what happens and not think about it so much. Okay then. So we have 4 cards left to pull. This is the cross. You may not be able to see it all because of the angle, but it's like just a cross like this. And then the last 4 cards go from the bottom up on the right hand side. So I have to move my crystal ball here or I'm not going to have space. So just let's do that. put it over here, a little bit more energy towards me. Okay, so the next card that we'll be pulling is in spot number 7, and it represents what you feel. The emotions, including fears and apprehensions, the seeker has about his or herself or the question. Emotions are scary. Let's see what it is. Oh my gosh. So I've pulled the hangman or the hanged man in reverse. Let's see what that means. Okay, so the reversed meaning of the Hanged Man card is not willing or able to break with the past, too comfortable with the way things are, prefer the status quo over change, see yourself as the master of your fate. So if this is how I'm feeling, I definitely am very stubborn. And again, I don't like to challenge myself to make change. I do absolutely prefer status quo over change and experiencing new things. Remember? Wow. So I would say this is a pretty accurate representation of how I'm feeling. It's a good card. Okay, the next spot is spot number 8, and it represents what others think. The opinions of others, especially family, about the questioner and the situation being examined. Okay. Oh, another reverse card. The moon. So what others think is reverse moon. Let's see. Okay, the reversed meaning of the moon. Not a time to venture out. Stay with the path you know best. Lacking in faith and in nerve. Going through a phase in the dark about things. So that represents primarily how my family is feeling about what I'm going through with this money and issues with my path, whether or not today will be successful and prosperous. So my family would tell me to stick to what I know, not to do what the cards are telling me and experience something new and take a risk. Interesting. But they also feel like I'm just going through a phase and that I'm in denial about a lot of things or in the dark about things. And I think that they would say that that's true. My family feels like I live in a fantasy land in my head, or I'm kind of in la la land all the time. And there is some truth to that. I definitely get very deep into my own head, and it's hard for me to find my way out of that. So there's some truth in this card, I would say, but I would have to ask them to know for sure. Not sure exactly how it might relate to the question at hand that we're answering today, but in general, I'm sure that that is an accurate representation of how they feel about me. Okay. All right, so the next card is card number 9, and it represents what I want, what the seeker hopes will come to pass, aspirations, goals, and dreams. The Star card in reverse. Interesting. Let's see what that means I want. Okay, so the reversed meaning of the Star card is eyes closed to future possibilities, gaze focused downward instead of up to the heavens, feelings of insecurity and disquiet, need to latch on to your dreams again. What I'm getting from this is that my wants and my dreams at this time are a bit unknown, and I feel like I want so many things that I need to simplify and really hone what it is that I'm looking to work towards. And that is absolutely true. As it states, I need to latch on to my dreams again. I'm not sure what I'm trying to do here with life at the moment. I do feel a little bit lost. So yeah, that card is definitely accurate and a little bit too on point, you know? All right, now time for the last card. I'm a little nervous about this card, but it's going to pull the reading all together. So let's see what it's going to be. Okay, card number 10, the resolution. Where events are leading, depending on what the other cards in the spread have to say. So this one, like I said, pulls it all together. Let's see what it is. Oh my God, you guys. No way. Okay, so my resolution card is the Devil in reverse. Let's see what that might mean. I'm a little scared. Okay, so the reversed meaning is that, and my resolution for this reading and what today will bring is that I need to be in control of my fears, letting go of the bonds. Very interesting. So I am so insecure and such a scared little human, especially when it comes to putting myself out there. So I think that my resolution is that I I need to let go of that. I need to embrace myself and who I am, my weirdness, and not worry so much about what other people are going to think about it, and not worry about this external validation like the reversed magician told us, and that I really need to just shoot for the moon. And I don't know, I need to get control of my dreams and my goals, and today is within my power. So remember our card number 2, Justice. That one we couldn't fully know the meaning of until we pulled this last card of the Devil. So again, as a reminder, this card number 2 represents the crossing, and it's the immediate obstacles, influences, or opposing forces that lie ahead. Influences that may be positive or negative. The rest of the spread will indicate which applies. I'm thinking that my influences are a little bit negative. Self-negative. I mean, it's obviously me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. Definitely some self-negativity going on here, but not in that way. These are definitely things I'm aware of for myself. I am very scared, and I have these fears that I hold on to every day. I try to make myself small and like a fly on the wall, unnoticed by people, just to save myself from interactions. And I don't like putting myself out there because I am absolutely terrified of the rejection, or the possibility of rejection even, or just making waves. I'm just not that person. So it sounds like maybe this is something I need to be working on, but it continues to say that if the card has negative implications, try to interpret them in a positive way. Okay, so, and again, it says that we need to refer to the relation of the whole spread, and in particular to the number 10 card. So as a reminder, the card that I pulled was the Justice card, right side up. So let's see what that might mean, and if we can interpret it to the rest of the spread to help answer my question of the day. Okay, so the Justice card is about bringing balance and harmony into our lives and what happens when we don't. The scales of justice remain balanced as long as we maintain this proper equilibrium or harmony. When we tip the scales, we pay the price. The cosmos operates on the principle of cause and effect, the law of karma, punishment and reward. By placing too much emphasis on work, we can damage our family relationships. By finding balance, we enjoy the fruits of both worlds. By placing too much focus on the secular side of our lives, we leave ourselves spiritually deficient. By making time for material and spiritual pursuits, we feel wholesome and see purpose in everything we do. By being too self-centered, we live life alone. By finding time for others, we benefit from their companionship, their counsel, their friendship. By pushing ourselves too hard, we can damage our health. By knowing where to draw the line, we perform at peak capacity in all pursuits. The list goes on and on. The choice is always ours. Justice is non-judgmental. When we are fair to ourselves and fair to others, we are rewarded. When we are out of balance in our lives, in our relationships, in our pursuits, we are doing an injustice to ourselves, our friends, families, and associates. But because we are doing the injustice, we pay the price. Life is give and take. We have to find that proper balance if we are to live life to its fullest. We must learn to compromise. We must learn to find where to draw the line between work and home, between the material and spiritual worlds, between drive and pleasure. Justice implies living in harmony with nature. An appreciation for justice also is a measure of our personal development. The more we understand the principle of justice, the more we practice it in our daily lives, the more we grow, the more we share in rewards, the more fulfilled we are. The more we as individuals believe in justice, the more it is practiced by our society, the more humankind will evolve. Okay, so justice, again, is my crossing immediate obstacles and opposing forces. I am absolutely out of balance. I see that very clearly. I knew that before I even laid out these cards, but it seems like the universe is aware of my disharmony as well, and it's trying to tell me that I need to fix it. So for today to be a prosperous and successful day, I think what these cards are trying to tell me is that it's not about money. I'm going to make the money, I'm going to pay for these expenses, but that I am wearing myself down by living out of balance and focusing so much on work and neglecting all of the other aspects of my life and all of my relationships, friendships, all of my pursuits, my dreams. I need to bring that balance back to the scales in my life and find that harmony again. And I need to not be so afraid to put myself out there and to be myself and to disregard external validation, which I so desperately seek a lot of the time, and that it's okay for me to take a risk, and that risk may pay off, and that I need to increase my self-confidence. So this is what I've learned today with this reading. Please let me know if you agree with my interpretations, or if you have anything that you'd like to add, or any insights that you can give me with this reading. And I think that we will be doing this again. I found it very enlightening and very interesting, as well as relaxing, and I think that I did find a bit of balance just by doing this spiritual exercise. So please let me know what you think, and I will show you my cross before we go. But until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon, okay? Bye.